Hello everyone, this is Ethan Cohen for RFT.gg, and today I am joined by the head coach of NAVI, TheRock, right before the start of Spring Split. So first, TheRock, thank you for accepting the interview. How are you?
I'm doing well, I'm doing fine. Back to Berlin. Now the weather is so much better, so I can like it even more.
Yeah, it's the start of spring actually, not only for the split
Yep.
but also for the seasons, I guess. So when did you get back to Berlin? Like when did you start to work again?
It was I think 10 of March, if I
Okay.
remember correctly, or 9. I came like a bit earlier than players. I think 2 days, so I can get used to like to everything and do some changes that I want to do to like review room, this kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm like here for 15 days and a bit more. But it's cool. Maybe a bit too early, but I think it's always good to come earlier. To be honest.
And the players, when did they join? Like when did you start practicing again actually?
We started practicing around. Let me check. I think it was like 12. Yeah, like we started practicing actually 13 of
Very early
March.
then.
We did like yeah, it was like quite early. I think it's for me it's like normal to start like earlier because of course if you don't reach finals or if you don't go international event, you kind of need to catch up to the other teams. And you always need to be like on shape. So yeah, we started earlier and we are learning new stuff now.
And actually, wasn't it a bit hard to actually find LEC scrims that early?
To be honest, there was like a lot of teams was actually starting earlier as well. We
Okay.
screamed mostly LEC teams, if I'm not mistaken. Fnatic did start earlier as well. Yeah, and we screamed like only LEC teams, so a lot of people came back like earlier. I think everyone got like maybe more motivated from first stand or in general, like
Ooh.
how the split went. Maybe everyone saw how close the split was, and they're trying to catch up the others because everyone started before the first stand. So it makes sense to start earlier, to be honest.
And how is it going actually, the scrim so far? Because you told me you were starting to learn new stuff. So maybe is it a bit rough because you're testing stuff, or how is it?
To be honest, we're testing and learning new stuff. We have to play BO3s right, and it's full fearless. And we were really good on BO1s on the one game. It was like really easy for us to actually do some stuff on the one game. But now we need to expand our pool,
Yeah.
and of course, it's normal. It's always like normal to be like rough at the beginning, especially when you're playing like new champions, new composition. Even if one champion will change can change, like the whole composition can look different. So it's not like it's full rough, but it's not that
It's harder
as
than
it
before,
was
maybe.
before. It's harder, yeah, for sure. And besides, like new champions and everything, we are actually learning new stuff that we didn't did well on the last split, especially mid game macro stuff. So we're kind of understanding like more concepts when it comes to that part and like what is important and what's not important. So yeah, there's a lot of new things that we actually going around right now.
But I wanted also to come back on that first split, because, like, obviously Navi has been very interesting project from the start, right? Everyone knew this team had the potential to upset, but I would say very few expected it to go that well from the start, right?
Yeah, true.
How do you explain such success with the roster like that young and inexperienced?
And to be like really realistic, I think the system how it was, it helped us as well. Like the
The
BO1s,
B1s,
if
yeah.
it was like BO3s, it would be like more rough for us for sure at the beginning. And then they kinda not disrespect, I will not say disrespect, but they kinda maybe didn't expect us to be like that good on some specific compositions, some specific champions. I think after some point, like people understood how to play versus us, and they started like abusing a bit like weaknesses. So I think maybe it was like quite late for them
Yeah,
understanding how we do things right.
because it was only
And
3 weeks or 4 weeks of regular
yeah,
season, right?
plus I think we were like a team that we used a lot of flex picks. We started playing Aatrox, Zahin, all this
Yeah,
kind of
top
Ambassador, this kind
laners
of
in
stuff,
jungle,
and
yeah.
and then like other LEC teams like actually starting to catch up, right? Now it's like different. I think yeah, most of the success was like that was one part. The other part, I think we came and we were like a lot of times on the same page, and we came like to the bootcamp before the split starts, and we have extra days, and we practice more as well. So we did a lot of good stuff in order to be ready for the first split, and that's what we're trying to do right now as well, right? Mm, this, and we had like a clear identity of how
Yeah.
we want to play the game before. Like BO1s, again, it was like really easy to do it because you play one comp and you don't need to be like that flexible. You don't have a game 2, game 3. And so it was, we found our identity, we played like our style, and it went that way, right?
Yeah.
Now it will be like completely different situation though.
But you also, I wanted to come back on something also that you told me before the start of LEC Versus, that there was a lot of work to do with the communication as well. Because everyone
Yeah.
has a different accent and that you had two Koreans and stuff. Would you say it has been going better since then?
Still, we're trying to we're trying to understand each other's, especially in game. It's more important, right? But
Yeah.
even outside of the game, we have like our differences on how we communicate and how we actually understand each other, even understanding. And I think in each time it's quite normal. Depends like on the individual, but at least with each individual, we need like even more time to understand some stuff. And there's like some situations that we're trying to set like just specific rules. Okay, we do this. Okay, we do that. But it's not that easy, right? Because league is not that. Okay, do this. That's it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of max, especially like on this level. So yeah, communication is going better overall. Still, we are far away with what I personally want.
Okay.
And besides, like of course, different accents and everything, it comes on the English level sometimes, and it's quite normal. Like everyone has different like English level. Um, so yeah,
Uh,
it's like better, but not that great.
and I was asking you about it because it seemed like in early game everyone was doing his job right very well. It is
Mhm.
more often in the mid game when it comes to like coordination in team fights and how you want to make the plays, etc. That I felt that the
Yeah.
team had a bit of struggles. So yeah, would you agree with that? And would you say it comes from communication mainly, or is it other stuff?
Yeah, it was like some place of them was communication. We are not on the same page on that place, or maybe some people didn't understood all that we are actually doing
Mhm.
this play. Sometimes it was about us being too aggressive on playing without waves, playing I don't know on like random areas
Yeah,
and
rookie
finding random
mistakes,
stuff,
rookie mistakes, right?
which is like rookie mistakes exactly. But I think it comes out of like knowledge sometimes. Sometimes we are that aggressive that we don't really think that, oh, maybe with our comp we are outscale, or oh, maybe with our comp we should play slow. Like a good example is game 3 versus Giants.
Yeah.
I think in that game we didn't understood how we should play our comp. And even like on 2, 3 crucial fights, we are not in position. We are coming late with an NAVI composition in that game. Like it's not good,
I also remember the game against
So
Fnatic.
yeah,
It was kind of the same problem, right?
it was kind of like the
In regular
same
season,
as
yeah.
the regular one, yeah, with the Akali.
Yeah.
But like in that game, we didn't know exactly how we want to close the game, and yeah, we were in rush, so it's kind of like low-key the same. Yeah, sometimes like we do these kind of rookie mistakes. It feels bad, but it is what it is.
And you told about it a bit, but while the split has been going very well, especially in BO1, where you guys clearly, like as you said, found the formula and what works better for you and stuff. Um, I also heard concern on whether Navi will be able to play different playstyles and compositions, right? In BO3 or
Hmm.
BO5, because obviously you had a very clear plan, and it was like in
Yeah.
the end it started to be a bit predictable, right? Um, yeah, what's your opinion on that? And do you think it's something you've been working on specifically right now? You'd
Yeah,
say
yeah,
it's
yeah.
too early, and because maybe you could think it's too early, and you'd rather mastering the best you can with that playstyle, right? That already proved to be working for you.
Hmm. I think that the play style that we were working on and we proved that we are good, it's something that I call it like comfort zone. We can always like get back at it, but it doesn't mean that we will play only this. Even, maybe after some point we will understand, or maybe we will say, okay, we go back to this and
Mm.
just build comms around like this specific thing. But I think we need to be flexible if we want to, let's start with reaching top 4, right? Because we are on the place 5, so now we need to go to the place 4 and go step by step. We need to be more flexible. We need to play more stuff. We need to be more open to new compositions as well. We cannot just build one identity and just do it. Maybe it will work, but I don't think it will get us like to finals, let's say. maybe that sounds like too optimistic, but
Especially
that
because
is how I
now
see it.
playoff will be only BO5, right? So
Yeah,
probably in
exactly.
BO5 when it goes to 5 games, yeah, it can be very rough to
Like
find options.
game five, yeah, game five, you don't even have a composition, right? You have
Yeah.
matchups and some pairs. It's not like the composition. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense, and it's normal. And yeah, sometimes you just have good matchups. Like good example, G2 versus KC game five. Like it's not like the two composition make like fully sense. They have like some good pairs on it, and you need to push more on this kind of stuff for sure.
One player that to me exceeded every expectations this split, and it was obviously Rhilech.
Hmm.
Even all 6 MVPs of the match for his first split, which means he's tied with Caps only as the player with most MVPs.
Hmm.
I know you already wanted to play with him like very early, right?
Yeah.
Navi even secured him a split before he could actually play. Like I want to know, did you expect him to be that good that fast, right? That he will play with such confidence from the start. Like, did you expect that?
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't expect him to play with that confidence. And it's really good that it came like that way around, especially like for the first split. And I think he's playing like good. But I think right now, seeing a bit more from outside perspective, there's so many things that he can learn.
Mm,
It's not like we are right now on the top two like junglers in LEC. We need like time, me and him, because we are working like specifically with him and his improvement. There's like a lot of small details that he's missing, and
okay.
especially on the part that sometimes he's like too aggressive, right?
Yeah.
And and there's like many good examples, especially from EU, Skew, Montelioya, how they abuse like Fog, for example. There's like small parts that can actually change the whole game.
Yeah.
So yeah, for now, I didn't expect him, to play with such a confidence, but I'm on the side that I'm seeing the full picture, and I'm like, okay, yeah, boy's good. He proved like himself mechanically, but
You don't want
there's
to
so
stop on
many
that, yeah.
stuff.
You don't want to stop to
Yeah, I
that.
don't want to stop just to that's a good mechanical player. We saw that. It's okay. Yeah, we know that. Now we need to get like on the part that we actually playing the game as we should play in some situations, and that's like the details that will actually win you championships in the future. Now, later, who knows?
And how do you explain no one really noticed such a talent before? Like, or maybe was it only about the visa issues, like that it was hard for any teams to get him? Like, how do you explain that?
I think maybe like there's LEC teams that they don't really watch certain like talents from ERLs probably, or they watch but maybe they prefer like other options, and I can see why. I can understand, especially like from when it comes to some like Korean players with experience or some
Mm.
other players with experience, because you know what you get, right? And this is how I call it. You know that you will get a player with experience. He will provide you like this stuff, and you're happy, and you know that you will have like standard value.
But I remember
But
you
the
told
wrong
me
is
you prefer high risk, high rewards, right?
yeah, it was like for me, it was like high risk, high reward, and maybe not many teams want to do that because it's a huge risk. Not gonna lie, it's not like you're sure that it will work, and there are so many cases that it didn't work.
Mm.
So I think that's like mainly the reason people don't do it. I can understand it and respect it, but just like different,
That's not
basically
your
view.
philosophy, right?
No. It's like different view. Like people have different views, and this is totally fine.
Uh,
Because I remember I told you as well from the Escape project that it seems like good. It didn't work out now, but maybe in the future.
yeah.
But depends. Like people and coach have different views on how they want to play the game.
Yeah. And do you think it is about like the ecosystem being an industry, maybe you have like standards that you need to reach,
Yeah.
like maybe you need to be at least top 8 or top 7 or top 6, and so people like base their standard out of it, or how do you see it? Yeah.
Hmm. I think the tier two ecosystem in EU it's not good right now. It's not in a good like shape. Let's say. I think I don't know like what's the plan, and I don't have information. I care about this, but I cannot I cannot control it, so
Of
I
course,
cannot
yeah.
change it. So I think they should create something like LEC two, let's say, with like top like ERL teams from every country, and then like maybe qualifiers from other ERLs and low key tier three.
Mhm.
So it will be like tier two and LEC like two or tier two ecosystem with the big teams, and then teams like with qualifiers. So everyone will come out of a qualifier or anything. At least that was my idea. And I think right now watching I don't know EMEA Masters or the ERLs, Like I'm watching, there's a lot of streamer teams
Yeah.
and everything, which personally I don't mind because content is good and there's some teams that they actually focusing on that and views as well. But I don't think it actually helped the ecosystem besides the views, right? On the views part,
Yeah.
because we don't actually develop players, or we don't see like the talent sign, or we're not focusing on talent itself. And for me, like the big picture is like LCK system with academies, and then third division with rookies and this kind of stuff. This is how you actually do it, or at least that's NBA plus slash like LCK approach.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the ecosystem, it needs to be changed, like for
Mm.
sure. They need to do something about it.
But
I'm curious to see what.
it's funny
Yeah.
you say that, because obviously like entertainment and stuff is about like viewership, right? And
Ah,
and actually like I feel like competitiveness, right? Having, if we send a team that win worlds, we like GLEC will automatically gain more viewership, right? As well.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
But I don't mind, I don't mind like streamer teams to exist. Maybe we can do like, I don't know, like a full like ERL group with that teams and play each other. Like would be like really good for the
Yeah.
League of Legends itself, right? But I think them competing with like ERL teams, or like teams that they want to actually build talents, for at least in my head, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's just weird, to exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not sure. Like
We're gonna see.
we will see.
I've
Maybe I'm
heard
wrong. We will see.
I've heard 2027 will be the year of change for the ecosystem. We'll see what happens.
No, I'm curious and I'm scared a bit, so we will see.
So go back on Navi. I remember you told me this project was a marathon, not a sprint, right? And that you wanted this to be a 2-year project as well. With how good you performed already, like how do you maybe reevaluate things? Like how do you see this roster ceiling by the end of this year, maybe?
I think spring split is really important to comment on that.
Okay.
For right now, I'm not sure what to expect. I have seen things from scrims, but I know scrims and officials are two different beasts.
Yeah.
You can see like people running down in scrims, and they can go on officials and be the best players in the world. So let's see. I think
Did it
the
happen? Did
middle
it
of
happen in winter?
yeah, it happened. Yeah,
Really?
it happened. It happened. Yeah, it was like some games were completely like different. Even
Okay.
like some drafts, that we are saying, oh, in scrims maybe it's not good, and then we're going officially, we're actually winning with these drafts. I was
Okay.
like, you see, we just running down the scrims. But I think, yeah, about ceiling, for sure I will have like a better picture to comment on that like in spring.
Okay.
It really depends on how we're actually gonna do on game 2, game 3 fearless. I think
Okay.
for me that's the turning point actually
Then I hope we'll
of
get
that
to
roster
discuss
in terms
that
of ceiling.
for the start of playoff.
For the start of playoff, or the
Yeah.
start of the summer next split.
Yeah. No, I hope you will make it to playoff at least.
Oh
Do you
no,
think?
yeah, that's something that of course I want to see.
Yeah, yeah. And like obviously I have to ask you about G2's run because I expect that you watch
Yeah,
firsthand, right?
of course.
How do you analyze that performance? Like, were you expecting them to look that good?
To be completely honest, what I really liked about G2 is they found a way that they wanted to play the game, and they were actually repeating concepts on every single game.
Yeah.
Like it was actually amazing. It was actually amazing and a bit weird from other teams. Like I was watching Gen Z falling into the same traps like every game, and I was like, "Whoa, bro! If Gen Z can fall on the same trap or the same things like every game, like
Any team
you,
can,
you
right?
actually you actually understand that okay, identity and all this kind of stuff are actually working. Playing even versus like the best teams like in the world, and I think
No
they
one
had
is
a really
perfect,
good
right?
meta. Besides I think the day one, every other like meta after like the day one, their meta read was really good as well. On the tournament like needs, they understood everything around the Chanders and everything around like that, and the draft like actually accordingly. It was really good to see it. I mean, it's Dylan, and Dylan is good, so we all know that. To be
And
honest, I didn't expect them to go like finals, but
yeah,
I expect them like to be a problem, through the tournament. It was really
okay.
good to see them be a problem because it gives you like extra motivation. Oh, actually, like you can do it. Like these guys can do it. Maybe one day we will do it as well.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Like, do you think the gap is closing? Like, does it maybe seems more doable to truly compete at internationals if you
I'm
ever
not
get
sure.
the chance?
I was always like an LCK fan, and I was always thinking that the gap will never close. But now I'm like more in the mindset that I was seeing like LCK players and teams like gods, but now for me, maybe they're not more humans right now. Maybe, they
Yeah.
bleed. Maybe they're actually doing mistakes, and I'm seeing more and more right now, right? So like maybe, the gap is not closing, but I know now that they're not gods. So they can actually like fully bleed, and
Yeah.
you can actually see the mistakes every game. Like, okay, maybe it's winnable. Maybe it's, but of course, for sure, like G2 gave like a huge hope on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so you will say the gap was maybe psychological before? It was a bit too mental?
Maybe. I think, I mean, it was knowledge in some cases as well, some years ago, or at least on some tournaments.
Mm.
Let's not comment like on the year specifically. Maybe it's closing. We will see. First time might be like fake data as well,
Yeah,
because it's like small tournament. I think MSI. We will
could be
actually
very
have
interesting,
more
yeah.
more data as well. Yeah,
Okay, so
on that.
maybe we're gonna discuss about that as well
Maybe,
after Messiah. If
maybe.
you participate as well, maybe. Um,
Hope so.
and I know Scrim don't tell the full story, but I saw you guys were playing a lot against G2 in practice in the end of the splits, right? And you were
Mm-hmm.
actually matching them, like it was really close, right?
Yeah, we were trying our best. I think sometimes scrims are kind of fake.
Okay,
You win like some games that you shouldn't win because people are trying stuff. And for
okay.
example, I remember the G2 especially, or at least how I saw it, G2 was trying a lot to focus on the early game. And the moment that early game wasn't there, we're just going like
Oh,
next
okay, yeah.
game. So I could see like what they were practicing on, but we're doing like quite well,
Okay.
I would say. But it's
So
not
you're better than
like
Genji or what?
because we want G2, right? We want G2, G2 wants G2, so yeah,
Yeah.
we're better than G. I mean, not right now, not right now.
Well, anyway, TheRock, as I we said already, your project looks very exciting, and I feel like a lot of people are starting to be interested in your team and its journey
hmm
because obviously it's very refreshing to see a new org stepping in with such an audacious project, but so much potential and good results as well that follow up. Like, do you have a last word for those new Navy fans maybe that joined the ship with you and this project?
I think what I want to tell them is that I mean, of course, like thanks for the support because I know there's new people that actually watching our roster and everything, and there will be like times that we will, mess up, and that's totally fine. Keep supporting us. We're trying legit our best to provide like the best gameplay that we could provide, and it will always be spicy from our side, right? Even like draft or in game. So it's always exciting to watch us. But yeah, that's it.
Don't mind if you in sometimes a bit, right? Or if the mid game
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
go as planned and stuff.
it's fine. Yeah,
Okay, well, thank you, TheRock. Hope you'll scale well, and yeah, hope to see you
thank you,
soon. Thank you very much.
thank you, thank you.
Good luck.
Bye bye.